Hi everybody, this week we're going to talk about claiming races. Do you like to play poker? You'll like claiming races. Really interesting way to buy and sell racehorses. We were really active this week in the claiming market, which is a good time to talk about claiming races. Your Kentucky Derby winner in America was a horse that was bought for $30,000 in a claiming race, which is a bargain price, so certainly for a horse that can win the Kentucky Derby. Faster here, we bought for 14,500 euros for her Canadian owner, and she's won 32,000 euros this year since, and she's still going strong. So that was what we call a good claim. Our new horse that we bought this week in the claiming race, we're going to run a listed race in Baden-Baden for her German owners, and see how that works out. So we set our sights a little bit high there, hey, and see what we can do. She likes my shampoo. I just got out of the shower. And we sold a Mira in the claiming race. So, claiming races, what are they and why do we have them? And stop eating my hair. And what's the reason? In France, a claiming race, first of all, let's start with the definition. In a claiming race, every horse is for sale for a price that's fixed before the race is run. In France, we have a range of prices. For example, in her race, the horses were for sale for 10 or 14,000 euros. In the race for Dité Nouvelle, who we claimed this week, the prices were 11, 14, and 17, something like that. And that price is set before the race. Then, in France, we run the race first, and after the race, you fill out your claim slip if you want to buy a horse. And you put the claim slip in the box, and in 20 minutes or so after the race, the claim box is opened. All the bids are read out, and the highest bid buys the horse. So even though the claiming price is a fixed price, like she was in for 10,000, I believe, and we paid 14,500. Why? Because in France, the claiming market is sort of a silent auction. It's done after the race. And that's what makes it like the poker game, and that's why it's really kind of interesting and fun. Because after a race, if a horse is run well, and you can see around the claim box, there are various trainers and owners, and we're all sort of milling around, kind of watching each other, like, what is he going to do? And you take a claim, you ask a claim slip for the stewards, you fill it out, and you have to put in your name, how much you're going to pay for the horse, the name of the horse, obviously, fold it in half, put it in the box. You want to make sure that nobody sees you writing out your claim slip, so they don't know how much you want to bid on a horse, because that's the game. You know kind of how much the horse is worth, but you don't want to overpay either. Because if you think, oh, I really like that horse, but there are a few other people looking at it, and it's in for 10,000, and so you think, oh, I might have to go to 16,000 to get it. So you put in 16,000 euros, the claim box is open, and it turns out that all those other trainers, they were looking at a different horse. So you just paid 6,000 euros more than you needed to for that horse, which is a bit of a drag, but it happens. So my role as a trainer and the owner, we discuss how much we think we're going to have to bid, and I've gotten a horse by a small margin is 80 euros, and I've lost a horse by a small margin is 3 euros. So those we're all pretty even on what we think we're going to have to pay for the horse. It's really interesting when the claiming box is open. It's like being at a poker table. It's a really fun game, and you don't want to talk too loud. You don't want to, are you bluffing? Are you bidding? What's really happening here? It's all very interesting that way. This week when Amira ran in Fontainebleau, we knew she was going to be claimed because 3 different trainers had asked me about her before the race. Why is she in the race, and do you want to sell her, and what would the situation be? So I knew that she would be claimed. It was a question of for how much, and she was in for a price of 12,000 euros, and she was claimed for 16,000. There were four bids on her. Stop eating my hair. 4 bids on her. And in that same day, in an earlier race, one of Amira's owners bought Dité Nouvelle with some ambitions for that. So that should be a nice horse. We hope. We're gonna see. The claiming game is like poker too, because you're not sure what you're gonna get. Horses are in claiming races. Why? Maybe the handicap mark is too high and you can't find good entries for this horse, and so you're gonna move it along. Maybe the claiming race is the only thing really open to you. Maybe there's a little bit something wrong with the horse. You're like, it's starting to show a little wear and tear. We're going to pass that problem on to the next person. It's not nice to say, but it does happen. But a problem for one stable might not be a problem for another stable. Just a change in scenery can change how the horse is running, and a change in training can be beneficial or not, depending on how it works out. So it's interesting to watch horses that you would have claimed to see what they did afterwards, or and then when you claim them too, you need to decide, did we do a bad thing here? It's a little bit like a game of hot potato. You don't want to be the one holding the horse that has a real problem. But in France, the fact that we claim the horse after the race is nice, because you can see that horse race. The prize money is for the old owner, and you can decide after the race, because after the race in France, all the horses are walked around in front of the public for a good 10-15 minutes. All the boots and bandages, if they're wearing any boots and bandages, have to come off. You get a chance to see how the horse is walking after the race, see how his recovery is, see what the legs look like. And often you can go, I'll go in the stabling behind the scenes too, and have a look before the race to see what the horse is looking like, how he's acting during saddling. Be observant to small things. How did he act when the jockey went up? How is he acting going down to the start? Just be aware of any little problems that might arise. Most horses are in claiming races because there is some kind of problem. It's not perfect, that's why it's there. Or in Amira's case, nothing really wrong with her. We had 4 partners who just kind of wanted to go different directions, and so we decided this would be one way out of the partnership, which it was, and it worked for everybody. Claiming races are not... The bedrock of the French racing system is handicaps, not claimers. On any racing card in a day, you'll see sometimes there's no claiming races at all. Sometimes there might be 1 or 2, or even 3, but that's not the mainstay of racing here. It's not like in America where if you can't run a maiden special weight, then you have to go claiming because there is nothing else for you. In France, you have a lot of options, so you don't have to go into the claiming market if you don't want to. So it's there. Sometimes it's an easier category to win, sometimes not. It depends, because it's hard to figure out what's going to happen in a claiming race, because there are horses moving up and there are horses moving down, and they all kind of meet in the middle, and it's a hard race to handicap sometimes. The claiming races, you're not sure what's going to happen. So it's interesting, and it's a great way to buy a racehorse. I've had a look at the horses I'm interested in. There are 3 I'm most interested in. The number 2, Shillyport. He's 7 years old. Had a year off for some sort of problem, but came back and ran 11 races since, with a win or 2 and in the money almost every time. The number 9, who is running a comeback race, he's called Norton, and he was put away for the winter. This is his first race back. He might not run so well because they're not expecting much from him today. It's just a comeback race. He looks really nice though, and I like this horse. And the other one is the number 7, the German horse called Ninja Wonder, or Wonder Ninja, one of those things, who's wearing bright red blinkers, so you won't be able to miss him. He's the one on performance I like the most. He is here with a groom who knows nothing about him, and he looks just kind of like a lazy horse that just kind of stands there, do what you want, and he's a little bit light on the backside, so I'm wondering if he can be improved a little bit. So we're going to watch him go into the parade ring and then see how they run. Okay, so I've seen them in the parade ring. I've been watching them. The number 2 looks fabulous. He should win this race pretty easily. The 9, who hasn't run, Norton, who hasn't run for 180 days, bit sweated up, a little stress going down to the start, holding his head a little high, not great head carriage. I've gone a little bit off him than I was keen on him before, but I'm a little bit less so now. And then the German horse, Ninja Wonder, or Wonder Ninja. Nice, those red blinkers, you won't miss him coming up the stretch. He's still a possibility. Not so bad. Mr. Calm. Let's see how they run. So Ninja Wonder is just hanging out like a cool cat, way behind. He's got a lot to do if he's going to be in the money there. They're not going that fast. Really curious what he's going to do from that side. He's 3rd from behind. Shillyport looks to go easy winner at this point. They're going to punch up on the turn. Like a lot of sales, I think we're going to come home empty-handed, because the winner is a group horse that's been running with a bowed tendon forever, so forget about it. Shillyport really ran a nice race. He'd be the horse to buy. He's 7 years old and he's in for 18,000. But for me, that's the horse of the race to buy. The German horse Ninja Wonder, just a little. He wasn't blowing after the race, which means he didn't really try, which tells me he's probably sore a little bit everywhere. So we may or may not be able to fix that, but I'm going to go for probably not and leave him alone. So, we keep looking at these and live to fight another day, unless we put in something on the old horse. I'm still waiting back for a couple of owners on that. We'll see. So, we did not find what we were looking for this week in the claiming game. So, we are still looking. We found one nice horse that we bought for Susanne, our German owner. We sold Amira, but we are still looking for 2 or possibly 3 more claiming horses to buy. So I'm going to be spending my week scouring the entries and doing it all over and seeing if we can find what we want. So meanwhile, 2/3 of you watching this video are not subscribers. We need you to subscribe, please do, because otherwise we can't stay in business and we want to stay in business. So subscribe, ring the bell, like it, share, and we will see you next week, and maybe we'll have news on something we bought.